I, male 35, have a daughter, 19. I was a terrible dad to her, which I think is expected because I was just a kid. At first, I left her with a family member because I wanted to finish high school, then I decided to go to college, and after that I decided to wait until I had a good job and earn some money before I finally decided to raise my child when she was a young teen. I feel awful about how I treated her, and I wish I could go back in time and raise her myself. She had a tough childhood because the people raising her were poor and I didn't help. However, now I'm making good money, and for her 18th birthday, I've decided to give everything to her. My house, my car, most of my savings, everything. I did so and I started over. My friends all told me I was crazy and said my daughter would kick me out of the home as soon as she got everything. However, it's been almost 2 years, and my daughter has never even mentioned the fact that I'm still living in her home, using her car and her money. Anyway, I've been dating my girlfriend for 10 months now, and we're in love and thinking about marriage. She has a teen daughter from a previous relationship. A few days ago we talked about getting married, and she told me that she understood if I wanted a prenup because I'm richer than her. I laughed and told her that she should be the one asking for a prenup because I don't own crap. She looked surprised and asked me what I meant. Considering I have a nice house, an expensive car and a pretty luxurious lifestyle, this can't be true. I told her that almost everything was my daughter's and told her the whole story. She asked what if we get married? What about my child, me and our future kids? Do they get nothing because everything is my daughter's? I've been saving for almost 2 years now, and I will keep saving, and soon we'll be able to have our own house and a car. She, however, thinks I'm an idiot, and I've been deceiving her by not telling her that I don't have anything. Another problem is that my daughter doesn't like my girlfriend, and we both know she won't tolerate her living with us, and she'll likely kick us out after I get married, and now my girlfriend is furious. So, am I the idiot for giving everything to my daughter without thinking about my future wife and children? For her 18th birthday, I decided to give her everything. My house, my car, most of my savings, everything. This was not a rational decision, and you should talk to a therapist. You are the idiot for dating this person for 10 months, discussing marriage, and never telling her your financial situation until now. I can't blame your girlfriend for being shocked at the news. Once the relationship got serious, it should have been discussed. Wow, I get the guilt, but this seems like a moronic move. You gave an 18-year-old more money than they have ever had, with probably little or no guidance on how to handle the actual day-to-day reality and responsibility of it. Plus, it seems like you never really grew. You refused to be there for her because of money, and you think giving her all of your money will absolve you of your abandonment. Money is not the same as love. You could have set up a trust and staggered your gifts, but you needed to make it this massive gesture to make yourself feel better. Did you get therapy when you decided to start raising her when she was a young teen? Dude, this screams dysfunction. Oh, and ditch the gold digger. No one gets to dictate what you do for your kid. Period. I agree. OP's not the idiot. You're not obligated to discuss your financial situation with a partner until you start talking about living together or marriage. You did tell her about it when you started talking about marriage, so you're not an idiot for that. You can also give your possessions to whoever you want. Your girlfriend is just salty because she thought she'd get the nice house and the nice car, and now she won't. She sounds like a gold digger. Also, I say this as a solicitor, always get a prenup. Even if you and your partner earn the same amount, etc., etc. You have no idea the lengths that people can go to and screw someone over. Always protect yourself with a prenup. I, 20s female, have an unusual name. It's one of those hated names that people think of the parents trying hard or making their kids' lives harder instead of picking a real name. Think Princess, Ocean, Navia, Moon. Now, I love my name and have never been bullied for my name in school. I have an excellent job, so it never held me back there. I married my husband while we were still in college. That's when I met his parents. They were nice, but kind of taken aback by my name when we first met. But still nice, there were no issues back then. Recently, father-in-law has mentioned how much he would love to have me work for him. I thought it was a lovely thing to say, but he started getting more serious about it after a few weeks. He asked me if I would be interested, and I said it would depend on certain factors, but it would be nice to work for the family business. He didn't say anything else right away, but then a couple of days later, he told me he was serious about wanting me to work there, but I would need to change my name to something less embarrassing, because the negative impact on his business was not something he was willing to risk, and a ridiculous name is a sure way to harm your relationship with important business contacts. I told him I understood if he felt my name couldn't fit in with his business, but I would not change my name, so we should just forget the offer. For the second time when talking to him, he was taken aback. Another couple of days passed and my husband told his dad he was crappy for offering me a job with conditions, like my name, attached to it. Then mother-in-law told me it was a little hasty to refuse without thinking it over. I told her the thing is I love my name and don't want to change it for a job. Father-in-law is offended that I wasn't willing to consider it. He told me it was an amazing place to work, which I do know. I heard great things from his employees, and I should be willing to make a small adjustment so I can be more professional in presenting in the business world. I told him I wasn't, and his attitude about my refusal to change my name made me glad I hadn't agreed to work for him. Now he and mother-in-law feel I should have been more willing to compromise on my name. I thought this was crazy, and my husband agreed with me and told his parents they were crazy. But they're unhappy, and now I need to ask, am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Changing your name isn't a small adjustment, and this feels way too much like a manipulative way to get you to change your name simply because they don't like it and are embarrassed by it. I'd be digging my heels in hard personally unless it was a completely insane, in a good way, job offer that would have me living more comfortably than I ever have. Your in-laws are scheming. Be careful. Is he kidding? Telling me you will change your name and take the job when he changes his name to Moondoggy. It's such a small ask for a big opportunity after all. You shouldn't change your name for a job with him. He has such a nerve even asking, and furthermore for taking issue with you for politely declining due to his idiot job requirement. You are entitled to turn down any job offer for any reason. What nerve! Your in-laws did you a favour. If this is how far they'll go just to allow you to work for their wonderful company, then it would get much worse once you are under their control. They think asking you to change your name is a minor thing, like asking you to stop dyeing your hair purple or cover up a vulgar tattoo. They would never consider changing their own names, but they're important and you're just an accessory. I'd be worried about how they will be around your kids. In my honest opinion, they're delusional, and I wouldn't trust them alone with a child. This issue gives you a window into who they are. The specifics of the incident are almost insignificant. It's what it tells you about how they think. This level of entitlement and disregard is staggering. I share custody of my pre-tween son Elliot with my ex. It's mostly split and we have a calendar that we can revise if needed. Usually we swap him every week, but around holidays we extend the times. So the ex gets him for half of this month and I get the other half. The reason for this month's schedule is that she was planning to spend Christmas with her SO back at his home state. I wasn't planning on travelling, just Christmas at home. This week my ex said her SO wanted to take her and Eli on a skiing Christmas holiday and asked if she could actually have him the last 2 weeks of December. I said, so let me get this straight. You have him for 2 weeks already and now you're asking for another 2 weeks. Where does that leave me? She told me we could talk about it afterward. I said, no, we can't. I'll let you know what. You give me money up front so he and I can take a summer vacation. She said that was outrageous. I said not as outrageous as asking me to give up my time up front, and you're refusing to give me anything up front in return. And yes, I'd be willing to negotiate if I asked her to give up her time and let it be known and not hang up like she did. My son might not even want to go. He probably would rather stay with Daddy and spend the Christmas break on playdates and sleepovers with his friends. You are the idiot. This is your child, not something to be used as a way to get a free vacation. The fact that the first thing to come to your mind was money, instead of wanting to spend time with him, is a huge red flag. I would have hung up on you too. Work together to get those 2 weeks back at a later time. After all, you'd rather spend time with your child than have some extra money, right? Also, please don't make a habit of taking away opportunities from your son because of petty things with your ex. Ask your son if he is interested in going skiing. If not, explain to ex. If so, ask the ex to revise the calendar together. Either way, you owe her and your son an apology. I had to read this twice because, what? I can understand OP wants a full month in summer in exchange for a full month with Mom, but money for a summer vacation? Where is the event coming from? Using his visitation time as a financial bargaining chip? That's just vile and incredibly demeaning. May I recommend a poker game? You can double down on the potential time spent with your child. Jesus, no wonder you're divorced. It's more that he wants a trade-off immediately because it sounds like he may not trust his ex to follow through on an agreement. So money makes sense. To have the time now, you give me money now. Her statement, "We will discuss it at a later date," could mean I will forget you gave up your time in Christmas and give you nothing in the future when you ask. It all depends on the co-parenting relationship. I think OP's not the idiot for asking. I, 35 female, and my husband, 39, have been together for 8 years. We have 2 children, a tween and a pre-tween. For the past few years, we've been thinking hard about being foster parents. My husband grew up in the system and it caused him loads of trauma and PTSD, so we wanted to do something good for these children. We were living more than comfortably and we wanted to make other children's holidays great and hopeful to have an impact. I mentioned it to my parents and some other relatives about a week before placement. We were placed with siblings, 2 tween girls. They came a few days after Thanksgiving, and it's a situation that we hope to adopt as well. My sister is hosting the Christmas party for the whole family and messaged me about this with some complaints, saying some people didn't want to buy these children gifts and that they weren't part of the family, that I picked the worst time to do this and how some people were worried about their behaviors. I said as long as they were in my household they were considered family, and I picked the best time to do this because no child should be alone for Christmas. She got irritated and said just because I made this choice doesn't mean everyone needs to, and asked if the kids even deserved it, how I didn't even think this through, and how they'd be towards others at the party. My sister and her husband were at my home when I caught the tweens stealing my husband's cigarettes, so now they're under the impression they're bad children, which equals not deserving of privileges. I said that none of us would be attending. After that, she started spamming calls to my phone, which I answered once, and we got into a heated argument where she told me I'd be ruining the whole thing. I'm helping her cook most of the meals. I blocked her number for a couple of days. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. It's probably best that you don't attend regardless. I doubt these 2 kids are really ready to navigate a big family celebration with a bunch of strangers when they barely even know you yet. You guys went into a very challenging situation and things will be hard. I could even be sympathetic towards your family since their lives may be affected by your decisions, but honestly, the fact that they're focusing on you not making dishes for Christmas really paints a pretty awful picture. You are the idiot for demanding your extended family treat these new additions to your household the same as the kids in the family. You haven't given anyone enough time to adjust and develop familiarity with each other. There's no guarantee the foster kids will stay long enough to be there on Christmas. They may not. You've only known them for a few weeks. It's nice you want to open your home to needy kids. It's unrealistic to expect and intrusive to require your extended family to immediately take up your attitude towards the foster kids. Do you mean just like they would have to get presents if someone in the family had a baby in October instead of having foster kids? How is this any different just because the kids are older? Ah, the Grinch has made an appearance. Welcome. Heaven forbid people be kind to children at Christmas. Who knows what they might expect? I mean, honestly, if getting 2 foster kids Christmas presents is that much of a burden to you, you already fail at Christmas. I disagree. I think you're setting up your kids to hate the fosters if they miss out on holiday fun because of your choice. Expecting other people in your family to shower them with gifts before even meeting them is rather entitled. How are you managing this transition with your own children? Are they being told as if the foster kids are the same to you as your existing kids? Have you explored your kids' feelings, concerns and reactions to this change in their home and family? It's too soon to ask too much. It's a lot for everyone. My son and daughter-in-law are expecting their first child. I'm a 63-year-old female and am having problems with my oldest son and his fiancée. My son is 30 and his fiancée is 28. They've been together for 6 years and live about 4 hours away from me. I'm a single mother and still have my other 2 adult children living with me. My daughter, 22, has a toddler son who lives with us since he was born. Due to my daughter's situation, I've always been the primary provider for my grandson. I'm not retired, I still work from home and have a lot on my plate. I'm my grandson's childcare whenever she's working, but overall my grandson has lived with me the whole time. My daughter-in-law's dad lives in the same city as me, so my son and her visit together 3 or 4 times a year. They decided to plan a baby shower at her dad's house and a baby shower they had on her mother's side of the family weeks before. We were excited to celebrate them while they visited and were planning on going. The shower was scheduled from 2 to 6 p.m. and my daughter worked that day until 3 p.m. I originally told my son we'd be late due to her work schedule and they said that was fine. Something had happened at my daughter's job that day, causing her to stay over an hour late, which she then had to drive 25 minutes home. I kept texting my son updates on the situation and explained how I didn't want to go to the party without her, while I also had my grandson. My other adult son is unable to watch my grandson alone, he's disabled and he doesn't drive. By 4:30, my son texted me and told me to forget about attending. My daughter was back by 5 and I texted him I was sorry and that we were on our way. He wasn't returning my phone calls, so I figured we weren't welcome to show up anymore. I texted him that I was just as upset and asked him and daughter-in-law to pick up their gifts at our house when they could. Since this happened, my son was somewhat understanding, but his fiancée is really upset with me. I'm being told I favour my daughter, how unsupportive I am, and how we embarrass them by not being there. My daughter-in-law refused to pick up the gifts because we couldn't be bothered to show up for them on top of them travelling to us. She and I have always gotten along, but this situation is causing turmoil. Am I the idiot? You are the idiot, but because you're taking on way too much, it's causing you not to be able to fulfill your commitments. You're not a single mom anymore. Your children are adults, and it's time they got their crap together. It's fine to help out, but there's no reason you should raise your child's child at 63, especially since I would guess you're not getting compensated for it. Also, why not just take the kid to the baby shower or have one of the adults in the house watch him? This whole story is full of missing reasons. You decided that the inconvenience of having your grandson with you was more important than attending the shower. Your daughter-in-law's issues are self-inflicted because she justifiably believes that she is the lowest on your list of priorities. The missing reasons are the daughter is the golden child. I didn't even have to get to the line where you told you favourite your daughter to see that you bend over backward for her to the exclusion of everyone else. You're prioritising your daughter and her lack of respect for your time and personal life. You're working full-time and full-time caring for her child and providing a home for them. She needs to get her act together. She chose to have a child, and all of this responsibility shouldn't fall on you. How often will you see your son's child if this is how busy you are right now? Of course he's upset. He sees how it really is.